It is believed that Nigeria is a complex society, and its management has remained challengeable to those who have volunteered, either through military rule or political democratic system, to rule Nigeria. Before we continue, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, share, like, and leave your comment. Nigeria has a big economy in Africa and also the world. They have real connection with the international community and is a member of all the international organizations in the world and participate fully in every program. However, what they lack is refusal to adhere to the rules and regulations of those organizations. Nevertheless, the international community are interested in what happens in Nigeria because it is their big market. It remains their big brother. It is where they make millions and billions of businesses across Africa. Nevertheless, the political events in Nigeria is taken seriously because it determines the economic situation and the progress of all these international companies and organizations. The political growth of Nigeria is also important to the international community. Because of the importance of Nigerian market, there are manipulations and also grievances within and outside the country. But the major problem in Nigeria is based on the ethnicity. There are a lot of ethnic bigotries in Nigeria. That is the problem. Nigeria is not a unified country when it comes to political and economic dispensations. It is only those from the southeast that make Nigeria to be coherent and viable. This confuses people when it comes to the distribution of amenities, social amenities in the country, because the Igbos are travelers and make their businesses all over the country. Many other ethnic groups in Nigeria, from north to southwest of Nigeria, sees the migration and the business movement of Igbos outside their own region as fully integrated within the system. However, the amenities distributed from the national cake in most cases are not allocated to the southeast of Nigeria. The reasons are known to both local and international communities. There are fundamental principles of abuse of rights of mainly the southeastern part of Nigeria in the distribution of amenities, especially during the time of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari. Well, those who are aware of the Nigerian Civil War that took place between 1967 to 1970 became aberration to the last president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. He never saw anything good in southeast of Nigeria because he believed he fought war against them, not necessarily for the unity of Nigeria, but because of the incident of January 15th, 1966 that led to the death of late Ahmadu Bello. The incident that brought about the agitation of the indigenous people of Biafra by its leader, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, was due to the treatment of the Nigerian leadership against the Igbos. This was made clear to the Nigerian public and the international community. The campaign was properly coordinated, and each and everyone, both local and international community, were able to absorb what the problems are. In the swing incident, Mr. Kanu campaigned for the separation of southeast of Nigeria to have a separate nation, of which that existed between 1967 to 1970. That was the basis of his crime. At the local level, the governors of southeast of Nigeria collaborated with the federal government led by Muhammadu Buhari, the former military head of state, to either terminate the life of Mr. Kanu or put him in life jail for advocating for the creation of the Republic of Biafra. Without going further into the details, the major issue here is that the international community, the leaders of the world, have witnessed the type of trial that has been going on since 2021 when Mr. Kanu was arrested in Kenya and renditioned to Nigeria. There are other instances that aggravated the mind and the suspicion of the international leaders. This was the release of Mr. Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, of Yoruba Nation agitator, and also Mr. Sowore, the political activist who also campaigned in the same stream and line like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Recently, Mr. Sowore was released from the allegations similar to those charged against Mr. Kanu by the same federal government of Nigeria. Sowore was charged for conspiracy to commit treasonable felony by allegedly staging a revolution campaign aimed at removing the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria. 2, committing the actual offense of treasonable felony in August 2019 in Abuja, Lagos, and other parts of Nigeria to stage a revolution now protest allegedly aimed at removing the president. Cybercrime offenses by granting press interview for the purpose of causing insult, enmity, hatred, and ill will on the person of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Money laundering offenses by allegedly transferring $74,400 in 4 installments by means of Swift wire. That is the allegations against Mr. Sowore by the federal government of Nigeria. Similar allegations were also leveled against Mr. Sunday Adeyemo, the Yoruba Nation activist popularly known as Sunday Igboho. Charges included arms smuggling / trafficking. Igboho is charged with trafficking and possession of unlicensed arms and ammunition in Nigeria. This is a charge punishable by a minimum of 10 years imprisonment. According to Nigerian Firearms Act, where a person, contrary to Section 20 of this Act, imports or causes to be imported firearms or ammunition by post, or contrary to Section 21 of this Act, exports or causes to be exported any firearms or ammunition therein referred to, he is guilty of an offense and liable on conviction to imprisonment for term of not less than 10 years in prison. Then second allegation was secession. The Yoruba Nation activist has been accused of seeking to break away a certain part of the country from the rest of the state. However, Nigerian laws are not entirely clear about what should be done to secessionists. Therefore, the government often charges them with treason or promotion of inter-communal war, unquote. Any person who levies war against the state or order to intimidate or overthrow the president or governor of a state is guilty of treason and is liable to punishment of death. The criminal code as states. Lastly, the Yoruba youth leader has also been accused of inciting people to violence in his call for the freedom of his kin and kids. The charges continued. The punishment for this offense is 7 years in prison for felony, in line with the Unlawful Society chapter of the Criminal Code. Any person who manages or assists in the management of an unlawful society is guilty of a felony and liable to imprisonment for 7 years. The law reads, Igboho has denied all the allegations leveled against him, and his lawyers have said the government has no evidence to back up his claims, unquote. These are the charges, and the similar charges were leveled or are leveled against Mr. Kanu, whose case has not yet been determined. Unfortunately for the Nigerian government and the leadership of Mr. Muhammad Buhari, the world were alive when Mr. Buhari attempted and overthrew the government of late Alhaji Shehu Shagari on 31st December 1983. The former president, Muhammad Buhari, and his Attorney General, DSS Director, Inspector General of Police, and even the military chiefs forgot that Buhari committed treasonable felony against the Nigerian state by overthrowing the democratically elected president of Nigeria in the name of Alhaji Shehu Shagari on December 31st, 1983. This was a treasonable felony, and inciting the junior officers under him to overthrow the government of Shehu Shagari. This they did not remember when charging Mr. Sowore, the leader of Revolution Now protest. Mr. Sunday Igboho, the activist that decided to rescue his people from Fulani hitmen who men kill, destroy, and abduct the citizens of the Yoruba nation. This aggravated the decision of Mr. Sunday Igboho to liberate his own people from the massacre of the Fulani hitmen and the terrorists, including the bandits. Their aim was to take over the land of the Yoruba nation and as well as the southeast of Nigeria. Now the international community and their lawyers haven't studied the charges against Mr. Sowore of Revolution Now, Mr. Sunday Adeyemo Igboho of Yoruba Nation activist, and Mr. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, who is agitating for the restoration of Biafran nation. These charges, however, reminded the international community, the human rights organizations, and the civil society on what these charges stand for and what Mr. Buhari himself did before he assumed the power in 1983. Now going back to the charges against Mr. Sunday Igboho by the former president Muhammad Buhari, Malami, his Attorney General, the DSS, and all the Fulani cabals never told Nigerians if the Fulani hitmen were given license to traffic and possess firearms and ammunition. They never told Nigerians till date. This is a 1 million question Nigerians have been asking, but none of them have been able to provide the answer. But they are questioning Sunday Igboho and charging him of trafficking and possession of unlicensed arms and ammunition, which means that it is the government of Muhammad Buhari, Malami, the DSS director, and all the Fulani agents that provided the bandits, the Fulani hitmen, Boko Harams, and all the rest of them with ammunition to operate in Nigeria. They have not been charged. If they had been charged and given the same treatment, Nigerians will be able to say, yes, the government of Buhari did everything possible to inform Nigerians how the Fulanis got their arms and the ammunition they were using to operate. Then the Fulanis told Nigerians that they want a separate nation. In fact, they want Islamic nation. This is why there have been problems in north, west, and northeast of Nigeria. One of the Fulanis have been charged with inciting violence in any part of the nation. The international community also, in their studies and references, also acted to see if the government of Nigeria had charged any of the Fulanis that are killing Christians and depossessing them of their land and their houses. None of them has come directly from any of the government officials. And the Igboho was charged or accused of inciting people to violence in his call for the freedom of his kin and kith. This is a charge that is ridiculous. This is a charge that shows that actually the Fulani hitmen wanted to take over the Yoruba land. For accusing Mr. Sunday Adeyemo Igboho by asking his people not to allow the Fulanis to take over their land, kill their people, and also burn churches. These are charges against Sunday Igboho. Like Mr. Sowore, his demand that aggravated the government of Muhammad BuharI then was an economy that works for the masses, an effective and democratic end to insecurity, the end of systematic corruption for total system change, the immediate implementation of the Nigerian 30,000 minimum wage, and free and quality education for all. That is his own crime. That is the crime he committed against the Nigerian state. In the interpretation, they said it's conspiracy to commit treasonable felony. In Nnamdi's case, the Supreme Court ordered that the judge ordered that the case proceeds to trial on count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, and 15. What are these charges in comparison with those of Mr. Sowore and Mr. Sunday Igboho? Charge 1 stated, as a member of and leader of proscribed IPOB, sometimes in September 2021, committed an act of terrorism against Nigeria and its people by allegedly making a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria with intent to intimidate the population, threatened the people would die, that the whole world would stand still. Offense is said to be punishable under Section 12B of Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2015. The prosecution accused him of committing an act in furtherance of an act of terrorism against Nigeria and its people, made a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria within the jurisdiction of the court with intent to intimidate the population, issued a death threat against anyone who flouted his sit-at-home order. The prosecution said the offenses is punishable under Section 12B of Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act of 2013. Count 3. The prosecution also alleged that on diverse dates between 2018 to 2021, within the jurisdiction of the court, Mr. Kanu professed himself to be a member and a leader of IPOB, a proscribed organization in Nigeria. Count 4. Mr. Kanu also alleged on diverse dates between 2018 to 2021, made a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria, inciting people of the public in Nigeria in furtherance of an act of terrorism against Nigeria and its people to hunt and kill Nigerian security personnel. Offense, according to the prosecution, is punishable under Section 12H of Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act of 2013. Count 5 stated, Mr. Kanu also, on diverse days between 2018 to 2021, allegedly broadcasted furtherance of an act of terrorism against Nigeria and its people, received and heard in Nigeria in furtherance of an act of terrorism, inciting members of the public in Nigeria to hunt and kill families of Nigerian security personnel. The offense is said to be punishable under 12H of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. Then count 13 states, Mr. Kanu also allegedly between 2018 to 2021 made a broadcast received and heard in Nigeria within intent to incite violence in furtherance of an act of terrorism against Nigeria and its people, directed members of the public to burn down every federal facility in Lagos, resulting in major economic loss to the federal government. The alleged offense, the prosecution says, are punishable under Section 12 of the Terrorism Prevention Amendment Act 2013. Finally, the 15th count is the prosecution also allegedly stated that on a diverse dates between March and April 2015, Mr. Kanu also illegally imported into Nigeria and kept in Pulisuzo in Ihala, local government area of Anambra State, a radio transmitter known as Tran 50L, concealed in a container of used household items, which he declared as used household items. The alleged offense was said to be contrary to Section 47(2) of Criminal Code Act, Cap C-45 laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004. These are the allegations leveled against Mr. Kanu by the federal government of Nigeria, which Judge Binta Nyako will be dealing with. Charges against Mr. Kanu. There is virtually no difference between the charges against Mr. Sowore of Revolution Now and that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Sowore's charges could have been more stronger because it is stated that the revolution campaign was aimed at removing the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria. That could have been stronger, but this was not charged against Mr. Kanu. On the part of Mr. Sowore, where on the second charge, where it is stated that committing the actual offense of treasonable felony in August 2019 in Abuja, Lagos, and other parts of Nigeria to stage a Revolution Now protest, allegedly aimed at removing the president. This is more stronger than anything that they have alleged against Mr. Kanu. However, similar allegation that was thrown out by the judge was the cybercrime offense, which the federal government of Nigeria stated that Sowore committed by granting press interview for the purpose of causing insult, enmity, hatred, and ill will on the persons of the president of Nigeria. This is similar charges that they leveled against Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. There is therefore no difference and no count that will be against Mr. Kanu unless it is a deliberate attempt by the federal government to undermine the judicial process and the same process taken by the judges and the lawyers that released both Mr. Sunday Igboho and Mr. Sowore of Revolution Now. Please share these videos to your loved ones so that everybody will be aware of the judicial processes that took place within the circuit of Sowore and Mr. Sunday Igboho on all the allegations leveled against them in comparison with those of Mr. Kanu. According to one international lawyer, he stated that the international community is waiting to see if there will be interference by the federal government of Nigeria not to do the same that was done for Chief Sunday Igboho and Mr. Sowore. If tribalism will play a role in this very case, many international organizations, world leaders, and also Nigerians are waiting earnestly to see what will take place on the 19th and 20th of this month. The acquittal of Mr. Sunday Igboho and Mr. Sowore by the government of Mr. Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, will not apply to Mr. Kanu. This is when the international community will take appropriate action, not only against the government of Mr. Tinubu, but also BuharI will pay for what he did. He committed treasonable felony by using arms and ammunition, which was the property of the federal government of Nigeria, to intimidate, arrest, and also take over the government house in Lagos and disrupted the government of Nigeria by force. That is the treason which he committed, plus other associated offenses. Before we stop, please, we ask you to subscribe to this channel, share, like, and leave your comment. Thank you very much for listening. Until we come to you once again, thank you and have a good day. Bye.